Hello, I am Jennifer Crofford, and this is my onboarding plan. I wrote this onboarding plan for Sacred Heart Catholic School, which is the school that I currently teach at. I wrote it as if I were to take over as the administrator of that school. Sacred Heart Catholic School is a pre-K through 8th grade private Catholic school located in Oklahoma City. The goal of this onboarding plan is to provide an induction program for new teachers in order to make a new teacher's first year as a teacher at Sacred Heart as smooth and positive as possible. The ultimate goal is to keep teachers in the classroom, and not only to keep teachers in the classroom, but to keep teachers in the classrooms at Sacred Heart. For the purpose of this program, we would consider a new teacher a teacher who is new to Sacred Heart Catholic School. So what that means is it can be a teacher who has never taught before, who's fresh out of college, or who is alternatively certified, or it can be a teacher who has taught, but they've taught at another district. We would still consider them to be a new teacher because they have never taught at Sacred Heart before. The onboarding plan is designed for 3 different time periods. The first is the beginning of the year, which would occur in August, the middle of the school year, which would be in January during winter break, and May, which would be the end of the school year. Induction of new teachers in the beginning of the year would begin with New Teacher Academy, which is basically a 2-day in-service that takes place during the week before school begins. Day 1 will consist of a Welcome to Sacred Heart kind of workshop. And basically what we'll do during that time is review the new teacher handbook, which I'll tell you a little bit more about here in a second. Day 2 is dedicated to a mentor-teacher meet and greet. Basically for this day, the new teachers get to meet their mentor teachers and they get to kind of sit down and meet each other and establish a relationship. In addition, the principal or assistant principal will discuss the role of each person in the mentor-mentee relationship. So as I mentioned, on day 1 of the New Teacher Academy, we'll be discussing the New Teacher Handbook. The New Teacher Handbook is a handbook just for new teachers that is in addition to the Sacred Heart Catholic School Employee Handbook. It doesn't take the place of it, it just adds to it. So basically, the multiple sections of the handbook cover things like, who do we consider a new teacher? Why do we have an induction program? It provides information about the school itself, such as demographics, curriculum. And it also gives a description of the purpose of the mentor program, and basically what a mentor teacher is and what they're there to help them with. On day 2, the mentor-teacher meet and greet. New teachers will get to meet their mentor teachers, and the task of each person in the mentor-mentee relationship is kind of a little more described. Whenever possible, the mentor teacher will be teaching something that is similar to what the new teacher teaches. So for example, special teachers would be paired up with other special teachers. So a PE teacher would be paired up with an art or music teacher. For elementary school, an elementary teacher would be paired up with an elementary teacher, someone who teaches something kind of similar. For middle school, it's a little bit trickier because we only have 3 people on staff in middle school. One of them teaches math and science, one teaches religion and social studies, the other teaches English language arts. However, the one thing they share in common is that they do teach the same students throughout the day. So pairing up one middle school teacher with another middle school teacher would ideally work for this situation. So let's talk for just a minute about mentor teachers. Mentor teachers are vital to the success of new teachers. And in order to kind of establish the role of mentor teachers and to kind of let mentor teachers know what their purpose is, we would have a 1-day in-service mentor teacher training that would take place at the beginning of the school year. And basically during that time, we would review the mentor teacher handbook, which I'll also tell you a little bit more about here in a second. And it also allows for the mentor teachers to begin asking questions about their role. One thing that I would like to do during this time is to seek out donations to create swag bags for mentor teachers with items like pens or gift cards. We don't have a budget that would allow for teachers to be compensated for their time. So maybe if we can do something small like this, it will at least make it a little worth their while. So a mentor's teacher's role is consistent throughout the year. One of the requirements of the mentor-mentee relationship is that they meet on a regular basis. So at the beginning of the year, they're probably going to meet every day because let's face it, we all have lots of questions at the beginning of the year. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect them to meet on an everyday basis. Now, as the school year goes along, that time will decrease and it may not be every day. However, we do have a requirement that at least once every 2 weeks, the mentor and mentee will meet. Now, how are we going to know if this happens? Mentor teachers are going to be required to complete a log each month and submit that log electronically to the principal. Each month they'll describe what they did, basically the dates they met, topics they discussed. If there are any comments or concerns, they would document those, and it's going to be submitted electronically to the principal. At the end of the school year, the principal will print off the log, and basically it will be signed by the mentor, the mentored teacher, and the principal, and then placed in the mentored teacher's personnel file. It's basically just to show that they did receive an induction program. So mentor teachers might have questions like, well, what are we supposed to talk about? So in the mentor teacher handbook, there is a calendar of possible topics to discuss during the meetings with their mentored teacher. They range from everything like touring the school to classroom management to reviewing lesson plans. They're basic broad ideas. They're not concrete. If the mentor teacher knows that there's something else they need to visit with their mentee about, then obviously we would encourage them to do that. But these are just kind of broad topics to give them an idea of where to go. So that leads us to the middle of the school year, which will be another time of induction for new teachers. So very rarely we have teachers that come at the beginning of winter break, but it's not unheard of. So we would have kind of a mini teacher academy for them, which means that we would take the 2 days of the teacher academy and condense them into 1 day. For teachers that are already part of the Sacred Heart staff, for new teachers, we would have a check-in meeting and professional development. Professional development will probably cover a topic of interest to new teachers at Sacred Heart because we're such a unique community and we have a large ELL population. We would probably want to have something, a PD that concentrated on that to kind of give them tips on how to teach ELL students. We would also have check-in meetings that would allow for the new teachers to express any concerns or ask any questions of the administrator that they may have. For mentor teachers, each mentor teacher will meet informally with the principal or assistant principal. Basically, we're just checking progress to make sure that everything's going smoothly, to see if mentor teachers have any concerns. It's kind of an informal process, but it needs to be done with each mentor teacher. Then at the end of the year, for new teachers will complete a survey about the induction program. And during the end of the year checkout process, teachers and the principal or assistant principal will review the survey. The same type of survey will be done with mentor teachers, and in the same way, they'll look over them at the end of checkout. Then the principal or assistant principal will take all of the surveys that have been collected and compile them into a document so that they can look at the results and make any changes to the program that they see necessary. The hope is that the program should foster confident teachers who not only stay in the classroom, but stay in our classroom at Sacred Heart Catholic School. These are references that I used during the presentation. And then lastly, these are references for the logo that I created specifically for this assignment. And that is all. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.